morning, good evening, good afternoon, friends of social media. We're back. Man, I am bringing down the house today. I got an arsenal of tacos today, but more importantly, I got my friend Arturo Ortega, coach of Hard Knocks Gym. Man, thank you for showing up. I'm sorry it took a little bit to get this together. We had a little chaos this morning.
It looks like it's a lot of food, though.
Yeah, well, because I made a promise to the guys that when you guys come here, you guys were going to eat. Mm-hmm. And I don't care about the scales. There's no scale in here.
Nowhere.
So it's after the fights. There's no weigh-ins. So it's a slaughterhouse of tacos. Big shout out to Tacos Chihuas for hooking us up. Our other taco place canceled on us right before we started doing this. So they came through and hooked us up. So big shout out to them over at Tacos Chihuas on 10th Street here in Indian School. So, man, introduce yourself to my friends. Because they know me, but they don't know you, but they know that we kind of run in a family circle now. So, yeah, give them who you are, give them your scoop, give them everything.
All right, well, let's say Arturo Ortega with Hard Knocks Gym. The head coach over there, co-owner. Me and my wife own the business. Been running now for about 8 years. Been boxing, playing sports, doing that kind of thing for about 20 years. Feels like it's a lifetime that I've just been having fun with sports.
So, we go kind of way back. We're connected in a few different ways. We're both proud Marines, first and foremost. We got to enjoy the 13 weeks of hell.
Yes.
Before it got changed up, and we still had the Crucible. We still had all the good fun stuff where you could do things.
Yeah, before they continued to weaken our Marine Corps.
But, we didn't run in the same, units or any of that. We were a couple years apart. But then, it's always funny. They say that, a Marine can spot another Marine in a room a mile away.
Yeah.
And it's almost like an instant brotherhood. And that's how when I got to meet you and Suzanne through Farad, because he's dating my niece, it was an almost like instant connection with you.
Yeah.
And it started there, but then it evolved from there, from you being a professional boxer, a champion in Arizona. I don't care, anywhere, a champion. You got a belt. And I have a deep love for boxing. I love boxing. I grew up, next to the Rodriguez Boxing Club, here in the neighborhood. So I have a deep love for the skill of boxing. So when I had the opportunity, when Farad was like, "Oh, I'm pro," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Man, I need a sponsor," and I looked at my wife and I was like, "Can we do this?" She was like, "Yeah." And then we met with you and Suzanne, and we did, and it just took that love for boxing to a whole nother level. And as I get to know you and Suzanne more, and Alex and Farad, it's become more of a family feel. Mm-hmm. But your journey didn't start in boxing.
No, not at all.
Your journey didn't even start your journey was in the Marine Corps. I think you had the same mentality I did. It's like, you're going in, I'm doing 20, if I can.
I had the mentality of, I'm going to go in and do what I'm going to do. I had no real, I didn't really know if I was going to stay for an entire career, or, if I was going to stay for, one season. So
yeah. So unfortunately you couldn't stay in, right? Obviously you suffered an injury while you were in, and then you were discharged.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest thing. And all our veterans will understand this, is that separation anxiety that you get when you leave the service. Man, it hit me like a ton of bricks when I got out. I can only imagine what you went through when you didn't fulfill your obligation the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? And that still didn't even start your career in what you're doing now.
No.
So give them the journey of how you got to here.
How I got to here.
From there, from the moment that you were discharged from the military, to now being the coach of professional fighters.
All right. So once I got discharged from the Marine Corps, I started on a journey of self-help, self-medicating. Got a certification in personal training. Started to learn a little bit more about anatomy and how our body works physically and how different ends connect with each other in order to just make you stronger. Started researching things on guys who had back problems and were overcoming it. Guys like boxer Benny Pazienza. And that just continued a different rehabilitation. Then through another friend of mine, he said, hey, have you ever even tried boxing just to kind of get your weight back down and get you back in shape? And I decided I walked into Hard Knocks Gym and I told the coach, look, I've got back problems, but I was told by a friend that this would be a good way to slim down. And he said, absolutely, come on in. So I did, and I started doing some workouts there. Then after a while, he invited me to do a sparring session, and I got a good sparring session with a guy named Anthony Bartonelli, who is a current professional boxer and world champion kickboxer. Just amazing guy, and he lit me up day one. And I came from background of wrestling. I was a good wrestler, so I don't take lightly to somebody lighting me up the way he did. But it made me.
But wait, your first taste of a sparring session wasn't even with another amateur.
No.
You got like thrown to the wolves. You got thrown to like a kickboxing champ, pro boxer. They're like, no training wheels, no nothing.
But I'm old school, so I come from that generation. Your dad puts you on the bike and he just push that pedal, boy, pedal. You're trying to learn how to swim, and your brothers just get you pushing the deep end, and you better figure it out.
Yeah, sink or swim is the motto, right? Like, so you take on the sparring session.
Yeah.
And you find a connection to it. And we talked about it earlier. It was a connection of dealing with the pain that you had from your injury, which is, to me, is super interesting. You learned that I could take some pain because it took some pain away.
I had the idea of you fight trauma with trauma, right?
Yeah.
You don't pull a Band-Aid off slowly.
Yeah.
Get that off.
But that catered to, the reassurance, I think mentally, that you were fine, that your back was okay to do the work you were doing.
Yes and no. I'll admit at that time I was in a very bad headspace.
Yeah.
So it was kind of it was a couple of different things. One, it gave visual pain to my internal pain. Two, my bad headspace, put me in a spot where really life didn't seem all that good, and didn't, I just had my traumas.
Yeah.
And so it was just whatever. What's the worst that could happen? Worst thing that could happen, I get knocked out, take a hit, and I die. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. And so from there, that sparring session, turned that on. And then we were talking off the air, and you said you got invited to a kickboxing event. And you've never kickboxed at this point.
Never kickboxed. I grew up loving Bruce Lee.
You were close enough to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I got a good heart that says I'm not going to say no to anything.
Yeah.
Something tells me I can do something, and, whatever, I'm at least going to give it a try.
So you go to this, I don't know, what are they tryout? Nationals? There's an event? I don't know, whatever it is. So you go to this thing, and they put you in this kickboxing ring.
Yeah.
And now, what do you do there?
So from there, I do a couple matches. Eventually, I go to an IKF national kickboxing tournament. Wind up being a runner-up there. Go back the next year, lose to the exact same guy, but I'm now a two-time runner-up in IKF kickboxing nationals. And from there, I get an invitation to do a professional boxing tournament. And I had a great coach he had the great words of wisdom. He said, "You're getting punched in the face for free right now."
So you took the pro route.
Let's go make some money.
So you start your journey as a fighter.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're a pro boxer.
No
more kickboxing.
No more kickboxing.
And now you're
shins in the face do not feel good.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. So you go into your professional career. You're developing as a boxer. You're rehabilitating yourself from your injuries. But you're taking hits. You're taking,
Yeah.
right? But you're fixing all that mental trauma that you kind of planted from when you got out to that point.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the line, you decide you're gonna go win a belt.
Well, it's one of those things that, when you're doing the sport and you're doing well with it, opportunities open up.
Yeah.
So I got told there was an opportunity to fight for a state title. And, of course, because of everything that I was going through, I kind of went into boxing opposite of the way most boxers do. They of course have an amateur career, and then they start off at a lighter weight and then move up. And I was the exact opposite. I was a fat boy coming down. So like I started off my pro career as a light heavyweight. And on my 5'7" frame, I mean, it was a lot of weight, and everybody all I'm seeing is, my debut was against a guy who was 6'3".
Jeez.
So I go over and I do that fight, and and I thank former referee Richard Steele for giving me the opportunity, because he's the one who promoted that fight, and I got a fight out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was kind of close to my heart because number one, my wife's born and raised there, and I lived in Albuquerque for a couple of years with my grandmother, so there was a lot there.
Yeah.
Then I go on and I start winning, and I get opportunities to win a belt, go back, win another belt. Then that just continues growing. Like I said, I'm big on not saying no, so there became other opportunities for me. Like at one point, they tell me, there's an opportunity to fight this guy who he's from Kronk's gym, and he's a pretty good boxer. He's a medalist in the Olympics, and they're like, "You want to fight? Why not?"
Yeah, why not?
I'm not gonna be afraid of a guy, and let's go do this, and so I take a fight with Andy Lee, who goes on to be world champion. I go 8 rounds with him. My coach stops the fight in the 8th round because he just feels like at that point I'm taking enough abuse, and realistically, Anthony was beating me up pretty good, but still, give me my last round.
Yeah, but you know what? But that's the coach. That's the coach taking the safety precaution, right? Like, because some of us are built with that no quit.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like we can get beat up, but we're still gonna get up. We're still gonna get up. We're still gonna fight. We're still gonna find a way, and we don't know any better. So it takes someone to kind of just pull you back just a little bit and go, "Hey, look, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. This is more for you than it is for me, right?" And we see that now as a coach.
Yeah,
like this is the Arturo I know. I know the coach, right? And we talked a lot about your personal stuff off the air, which is in itself. You could write a book about it, and I'd read it. It's super dope. And if you ever get a chance to do like a freaking 3-hour podcast just to talk about your journey, I hope someone gives them the opportunity to give you that 3-hour space to just talk about all that stuff that you fixed along the way. The stuff that you kind of destroyed also along the way, but you've learned to repair along the way. It's an incredible journey. And if anybody gets a chance to talk to you about it, man, I hope they do, because it's amazing. It's amazing. So now you got these 2 young guys. Man, these 2 young guys, Farrad and Alex, like, man, they're like my kids. I freak out every time I talk about them, because they're so special to me. One, because I get a chance to help them on their journey. But more so, I get to see you develop them in this. It's a violent sport.
Yeah.
Super violent. And the way you coach them and the way you coach the other kids in the gym, man, that doesn't come across. It's such a passive way of coaching, but coaching with a purpose. And the more I talk to you, the more I see the beginning of your journey in the way you coach these guys. And it's amazing. To me, it's an amazing way of seeing someone come back from that bad spot, right? Which, to all our veterans, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? And we all do some damage to ourselves, but there is light, there is hope, right? There is ways to get better.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect, but it gets better, right? And you find those right support systems, and you stop doing the self-damage, and it really does cater to growth and opportunity.
Yes.
So huge, man. That's like super respectful for you, man. Like that's a big thing for me. Like to see a veteran that can find their way out of a struggle is huge. So you got these two kids, Alex and Farrad, and you put your heart and soul in these kids every time. I see it when you're coaching them. I see it at the fights. What is your ultimate dream for them?
My ultimate dream for them is for them to just live out their dreams. I want to see them, do whatever it is they do at their very best. And I want to see them go from where their lives currently are or have been, and just be another success story. Just be able to grow old and go, man, I remember back when I thought when I was going through this struggle, and man, life is so good now.
Yeah, man. So the goal isn't, like most people say boxing, it's always a title, right?
Yeah.
I want to win a title. I want a title. You're like, I want you to grow as people.
Yes.
I want you to grow as a person, to be a strong individual, no matter what comes to you.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what comes. And I think that's a big trait, and we talked about it, that the Marine Corps teaches you. The brotherhood. That you help your fellow man.
Yeah.
Right.
We're a family.
We're a family. You help each other where they are weak. Right. Like if you have the strength for that, you take that weakness out of them. And you help them grow, and you help them develop that so they no longer are weak in that area. But then you got those 20 years of being a personal trainer and all this other crazy stuff alongside of it. So it's like almost the perfect marriage of skill sets, actual accomplishment, right? Like, there's a lot of coaches that have never been in the ring.
Yeah.
So they don't know what it's like to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like to get, I don't want to get kicked in the face. Like, I don't know what, I couldn't get in the gym with a kickboxer. Do I analyze the sport? Yes. But I think there's a different testament when you know the science of it, but you also can acknowledge the skill set of it because you've been in the ring with it. And you married both of those now to where the gym is super successful. Like, I look at it as super successful because there's always kids and they're wanting to work with you guys.
Yeah.
And they want to work with Farrad, and they want to work with Alex, where they're now coaching.
Yeah.
They've taken what you've taught them and they're giving it to the kids now. And then the most important part of that gym, the giving back. Man, that's the reason I was in with you guys. They want to help other kids who don't have, be able to come into the gym and work out and train, because you learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
You went in and just got beat up for free because you were dealing with pain, and now you have the opportunity to give someone to heal their pain before it even starts. Which is why we were like, we're in. We're going to try to support them as much as we can, whatever way we can. And we found it in the sponsorships of Alex and Farrad. But we're looking to do more, and working with Susan and helping her connect with certain people that can help in that environment. We want to take Hard Knocks to where you can help as many kids, in this world, because I see your love for your craft. I see Suzanne's passion for wanting to help. So, it's that thing. It's what we want to do for you guys, and it's the only way we can, continue to support you guys is connecting you with those individuals that can help. So, man, I wish I could talk to you for hours, like on this thing, man.
I mean, our passion, our passion comes from having a rough childhood. I mean, as many of us did, especially for those of us who grew up, late 80s, early 90s. I mean, it wasn't a very peaceful time for kids. But, with that, you learn, like I learned that athletics saved me. I mean, it put me in a position where I could keep myself busy enough so I wasn't getting myself in trouble. I was staying out of problems. And, and I truly look at that, and when I say it saved me, I mean, I'll give a quick background. I grew up in a troubled home, of course. My parents were, separated. My dad did his business. It wasn't always good. Both my brothers, a lot of my uncles and whatever, they all did drugs and gangs and did all that in and out of incarceration, and now I'm at a point where, by the time I was about 26, I had already lost both my parents plus my stepfather. I had lost one of my brothers. Everybody, my family support system was gone. And then, my other brother had became incarcerated when I was about 22, and he's been in there for about 20 years now. Wow. I had everything in my life that could have said, give up, go do this.
Go that route.
This is just your family tree.
Yeah.
But I found sports, I found mentors, I found people who maybe they might have cared about me because of my abilities, but they used my abilities to bring out my education, bring out my future, bring out my dedication, to help show me that there was more to life. All I had to do was just take some time and realize that my environment wasn't me.
Yeah.
My while I inherited my genes, I didn't inherit those problems.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to feed these kids, is that you have the ability to be whatever you want.
Yeah.
And like when I heard that as a kid, it sounded so different because it was like, maybe you don't know my life.
Yeah.
But here I am, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Going, man, when I was 14, starting high school, and I was given my first pair of cleats because I couldn't afford them, but I need them to play football.
Yeah.
That small move created this.
Yeah. It started a tsunami.
Yeah.
It started a tsunami, which is, oh man, I wish I could. This needs to be like a 5-hour show, like to get everything out of you, man. I swear. I wish we could do this for like 4 hours. I love digging into your story, and the more I learn, the more it's just like, I want more. I want like a TV special. Like I literally do. I want to do a documentary on you, because there's so much in there. Unfortunately on the show we were limited, right, with the time that we got. So, man, so I don't want to stop the start. We're going to get to the nuts and bolts. We're going to eat tacos. Man, okay. So Tacos Chihuas, thank you for saving us today. There's an arsenal. They gave us so much food. Thank you to them for saving us again for our other people. But yeah, now it's your turn. You got to grab a taco. There's all kinds. I don't even know what you want.
I don't know either.
There's like carne asada. There's shredded beef.
This looks like pastor right here.
That's pastor. Go ahead and give that thing a whirl.
That's what I'm going with right there.
Yeah, go start with that one. There's salsa over there if you need it. Shout out to everybody that tunes in, watches. Guys, if you are struggling, if you are a veteran and you are struggling, go find help. I swear to God, there's help for you. Find it within your friends. Find it within doctors. Get the care you need. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There is so much support out there now that you can find peace with those demons. You can find peace. So yeah, grab a taco, give that thing a whirl. Yeah, you can push that mic out of the way. I'm gonna let him try the tacos because I swore I was gonna get him fat. So we're gonna tip the scales today because there's only 3 of us in the studio today, and there's like 400 tacos. So I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
How is it? Yeah? Good?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Let me grab you another one. Hold on. Let's see. That's chicharrón. I don't know if you like chicharrón.
Oh, that's right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring that one over.
Here, they have that one there. There's shrimp. There's healthy stuff over here.
There's not a bad taco. So
there is. Somebody can mess it up. You can mess up the flavor. We've had some that weren't that good on the show.
No, you must be talking about like they start putting like taco powder on it.
I don't know what they did. but man, I'm telling you, I want to sit down and I want to figure out a way to do a whole like documentary and like 3-day part series on just you. Because the journey is incredible, and it carries so much weight to help so many people across the board, not only from young individuals that are struggling within their life, but also service members. Mm-hmm. some that have lost a purpose, right? That can't find a purpose because whatever their job entailed in the military doesn't cater to their personal life now, or they got out on different terms or whatever it is. And I think it could help so many people. So I think that's like the next goal for me is finding a way to pair you up with our friends at Vance Media to do a docu-series just on you and your wife, because what you guys are doing is incredible.
And for those veterans who are out there, who are struggling, who need someone to talk to, need a way to relieve stress, come see us at Hard Knocks Gym.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you. That's what we do. We love you. We appreciate your service. We appreciate all that you've done. For some of you, you've lost lives, limbs, friends, family. If you need to talk, come see us.
Yeah. Same thing, at Clear to Close, right? Like I tell veterans all the time, reach out to me. So, it's always one of those things, right? Like we help each other out because we understand where we've been. So, yeah, definitely thank you, man, for coming out. Like I want to do like 3 more shows, but we're going to eat tacos, guys. Thank you to everybody for tuning in as always. We'll be back next week. New show, new guest. We still might have some of these damn tacos from this week because there's a lot. If not, you're going to see me. I'm probably going to be all fluffy. Until then, guys, tune in next week. We'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.